Please welcome Ed Robinson.
Imagine that you had a morning to spend with 5 masters, sharing with you insights to various aspects of your business. This morning, that dream comes true. Welcome to Morning with the Masters. I am told that people come to conferences like this for one of 3 reasons. They're looking for solutions to their businesses and the challenges thereof. Do any of you encounter any challenges in your business? I know it's been true for me in the last 6 months to a year. I think it's true for all of us. Second reason people come to conferences is they're looking for an opportunity to network with their colleagues. And last but not least, if I'm stuck in a room in excess of a half an hour, I want to have some fun. I'm going to be your host today, and we're going to have 5 masters share with you various informations to deal with those solutions to the challenges that you have. Our first master is going to share with you how you can take each and every one of us has one idea inside of us that we can move that from that idea to a bestseller. Our second speaker is going to share how you can take a good story, move it to a great story, to create a compelling message to make connections to your clients. Then we're going to take a break, and then we'll go with the third speaker. The third speaker is going to help you create win-win relationships with your clients and in your business. Our fourth speaker is going to share with you about his mastery is longevity. He has a career that has expanded over 4 decades, and he's going to share with you the magic and the mysteries of how you can do that as well. And our last and definitely not least speaker is going to share with you how we can take humor and laughter to create a serious message and to make that message stick with our audiences. My job is to help facilitate this process. I think my job is going to be somewhat challenging. I say it's somewhat challenging because there's a rumor that there's about 1,000 professional speakers in here and somewhat less as far as professional listeners. How we're going to do that this morning, each of the speakers is going to take 20 minutes and share with you their viewpoint, their content. After they speak, we're going to take 5 minutes to have you make a connection with their message to your world, your life, your business. And we're going to do that. We're going to put on this big screen a clock. The clock is because we have more speakers than we do listeners. It's going to start at 5 minutes. It's going to go down to 0. At 1 minute, I'm going to give you a 1-minute warning to let you know it's time for us to start wrapping up that conversation. Prior to that, after each speaker, they're going to put up a magic question for you to make that connection from their message to your business. With that question, we're going to have you actually go through with one person at your table and actually have that dialogue for 5 minutes on how it's going to be applicable to your business. Now, we have several ways to try to get your attention. 1-minute warning. Then we're going to do music. When all 5 minutes have gone through, I'm going to play some music. And then we're going to do a thing that I love, that I do, called the power clap. The power clap is something I do, and it's a matter of I count to 3, and we clap 1 time. We're going to practice that 1 time. On 3, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. You guys are ready. You guys are ready. I think we're ready to move. So that said, I think it's time for us to, are you ready for that first master? Are you ready for that first lesson? Ladies and gentlemen, our first master is going to share with you how each and every one of us has a message in us that we can move to a bestseller. Joachim de Posada. I want to tell you a little bit about Joachim. Joachim is an international speaker. Joachim has spoken in over 60 countries around the world. He is a best-selling author. One of his books is How to Succeed Among Piranhas. His second book, Don't Eat the Marshmallows Yet. And his third book, Don't Gobble the Marshmallow Ever. Now, I've done a little bit of research as far as bestsellers are concerned. My research, I've asked several people, how many books does it take to be considered a bestseller? I've heard 10,000. I've heard 35,000. I've heard 50,000. I've heard 100,000. Ladies and gentlemen, Joachim's books have sold over 3 million copies in 20 different languages all over the world. He's going to share with us how each and every one of us has something inside of us that we can cultivate to move to a message that can create a bestseller in you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, brand new CSP, Joachim de Posada.
You forgot to say my friend. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Don't eat the marshmallow yet. You're one idea away from an international bestseller. Sir Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. That's a very profound phrase. Knowledge is power. But he should have said something else. He really should have said, applied knowledge is power. Because if you know and you don't do, you don't know. Knowing and not doing is nothing. People don't care what you know in reality. People only care for what you do, for your results. So you're all anyone. Because if I could do it, anyone can. I even have an accent. Some people think I fake it. No, this is my real accent. Okay? And I have to live with it every single day. So if I could apply it, one idea, and have a bestseller, you can apply one idea and have a bestseller. You're one idea away from success. You're one idea away from $1 million. It's just an applied idea. So this was the idea. Don't eat the marshmallow yet. On a plane, reading one book. I read many books. I have 5,000 books in my home. And it was called Emotional Intelligence. And it mentioned the marshmallow experiment in one page. Now, thousands of psychologists have been exposed to this concept. I was exposed to it very early in my career, but I did not pay much attention to it until I saw it in the book. I said, wow, I remember now. This is a very important concept. So I decided to write a book on the marshmallow principle. Now, what's the marshmallow principle about? I'm going to use, as Patrick Henry says, I'm going to use my God-given prop. This is Orly, my first and yet only grandson, because one is on the way. Thank you. Well, this very, very intelligent American psychologist, Walter Mischel, years ago, took 643 kids, put him in a room with a marshmallow. One marshmallow, which was not a melted marshmallow. one marshmallow. And he told the child, Johnny, I'm going to leave you here with a marshmallow. If when I come back, the marshmallow is here, you'll get 2. But if you eat it, you get nothing else. So you have a choice. Either you eat the marshmallow and don't get another one, or you eat the marshmallow and you get another one. Easy choice. He left the room, walked behind a glass door, and watched the child's behavior. Now, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow. He's too young for the experiment, so don't judge him on it. He's only 20 months. They were 4 years old, okay? So, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow. 1 out of 3 would look at the marshmallow and go like this. They would walk around, they would play with their pants. That child already, at 4, understood the most important principle of success, which is self-discipline. You can get him back. Say bye, 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 bye. He'll be back here in exactly 21 years or so. So 1 out of 3 would look at the marshmallow, and that child already understood the most important principle of success, which is the ability to delay gratification. 15 years later, they do a follow-up study. And what do they find? 100% of the children that had not eaten the marshmallow, they were all successful. Their SAT exam, their grades were 213 points higher than the kids that ate the marshmallow. They had good relationships, good grades, they had plans for the future, they were doing well. A big percentage of the kids that ate the marshmallow did not make it to college. They were working low-paying jobs, delivering pizzas, driving cars, pumping gas. Some made it to college and dropped out. And some, of course, had bad grades, and a few had good grades. So, can you imagine, at 4 years old, already, some kids are destined for success, and some don't. But should we think that this is genetical? Is it our genes? You know what? In part, yes, it's our genes. In part, some people have the genes. You can see them in school. They're born leaders. They are. We have to accept that. But what's interesting is that some of those kids did not have the genes to succeed, but their parents were able to change the children. They taught those kids how to delay gratification. Eat your salad and you get dessert. Clean your room and you go to the movies. Okay? So this is a very powerful principle. I can tell this principle to the tortilla salesperson in Mexico. He's very poor. I can tell this secret to the newspaper salesperson in Caracas, Venezuela, very poor. Or I can tell this principle to the flour salesperson in some of the cities in America or in South America. You sell 10 tortillas and you save 1. You sell 10 newspapers and you save 1. You sell 10 flowers and you save 1. And if you do that, in 30 years, you are rich. So anyone here, no matter what kind of job you have, if you start saving at 21 years old, 10% of everything you earn, in 30 years, you will be rich. You have to do nothing else. Okay? However, I do hope that you are thinking of writing a book or doing something that you will gain success much faster. Now, I had a question in my mind, a burning question. I was thinking, these were American kids. What would happen if I do this with Hispanic kids? Would they eat more marshmallows than the American kids? Would they eat less? I don't know. So I decided to do the experiment, and I was going to do it at the University of Puerto Rico, but I wasn't able to get the funding, budget cuts or whatever. So I went to one of my great clients in Colombia, and I did this with, I couldn't get a lot of 4-year-old kids, so I did 4, 5, and 6 years old. But it was a fascinating experiment, and I want to share it with you.
Hasta para un niño de 4 años, es atractiva la idea de tener el 100% de retorno a la inversión en 15 minutos. Sin embargo, algunos de ellos, tan pronto la puerta se cerró, se comieron el marshmallow inmediatamente. Otros, en cambio, resistieron el impulso.
So, 36 kids, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow. 12 did not. So practically, we were all the same. Now, this little girl was very special. She decided she wanted 2, but she also wanted that one. So what she did is she started taking the inside and eating it. So she left it hollow right on top of the table. Okay? So we know she's going to be successful, but we have to watch her. Okay? Now, I would not recommend she work in a bank. But marketing, sales, or the speaking business, she could do well. Yeah. So, this concept, I thought, we have to take the concept worldwide. And this is very important. When you start thinking about doing anything or writing a book or whatever, you think the whole world. You don't think only one country. You do not think only in the US. You think the whole world. 6.5 billion people. So I thought I have to take this concept to the whole world. And this book made it to the whole world. 20 languages, and the principle is spreading all over the world. In fact, in Korea, #1 bestseller 62 weeks in a row. It beat Harry Potter and Da Vinci Code. Okay? So, great surprise to me, even though I insisted that the book be taken to the Frankfurt Book Fair. All of you should take your book to the Frankfurt Book Fair, even to the American Booksellers Association. But Frankfurt Book Fair, because that's where international buyers go and pick their books. And when Penguin got back to me and said, wow, your book was the sensation of the fair, we had to hide it because people would steal it. So I said, I'm in good shape then. So it's in China, Taiwan, over 1 million copies. Okay? Big country, so there'll be, you don't get that much, and sometimes you don't get much at all because the copyright issues are not that strong in those countries. But so what? The message is spreading, and that's what you want. Korea, languages that I don't even know. Spanish. Spain wanted a different name, that's why it bombed. Polish, Turkish. Brazilians wanted to change the name. Instead of don't eat the marshmallow yet, because they don't know marshmallows in Brazil, they call it the driver and the millionaire. And it sold very well, bestseller also. Japan, and what's interesting, and this is a very important lesson, what you do for a living, you do it from your heart, thinking of how do I help the most people possible, not thinking how much will I make from this book or how much will I make from this activity. No. You think, what can I give people? How can I share my principle? And the money will come back later. I get a call from an agent and she says, the Koreans want to do a children's book, but the publisher is not well known. Well, negotiate it. So she comes back to me 2 weeks later and says, Joaquin, no, let's say no. They only have $5,000 as an advance. The Koreans for the adult book, the other publisher paid $135,000 for the right to publish this book in Korea. So she says $5,000. So in fact, we don't even know the publisher. They don't work with Penguin. I don't think we should do it. So I said, Jane, let me think about it. Next Monday I called her and I said, that weekend I thought, you know what? The Koreans have given me a bestseller. Why should I be thinking the amount of the advance? That should not even come into the equation here. I owe it to the country. I owe it to the Koreans. So I called my agent on Monday and said, Jane, you're a great agent. You have advised me very well. But this time I have to go against you. This time I'm going to tell you, you do it. And I don't care what the advance is. We owe the Korean people a book for children. A year later, I got the book in an envelope with a little note and a letter saying, Joaquin, I think your heart was right. Number 3 bestseller in Korea and a $47,000 check. Okay? Because I thought about the heart, not the mind. Okay? It was for them. Because the Koreans, I went to speak to Seoul just recently, and they told me, Dr. Posada, we want to be the #1 country in the world by 2050. So this book will be given to every child in school, and then they made me do one for teenagers. They did a comic book, and now the adult book. So we have 4 books in Korean, and the whole country will read it. See? Just because one idea that I saw in a plane reading a book, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goldberg. Okay. So, thank you. So what you must understand, your impact as a speaker, as a trainer, or a consultant, if you have a book, your impact will be much greater than that person that doesn't have a book. So everyone in this profession should be thinking, I have to write a book. You don't have to write it. You can dictate it. You can give 5 speeches and then transcribe them, and then you have a book. Don't worry too much about what it says, because 90% of the people won't read it. But at least you'll have the book. Okay. And if you have a book translated into several languages, your impact will be greater and you will be booked in many other countries. When this book hit, and then I was invited to speak at TED.com, obviously I started getting bookings without even knowing where they were from, from different countries, because now they could relate to you. And they all want you to speak, and then they want you to sign their books. They sign the books. So you have to do it. Now, what is the marshmallow decision? That's the marshmallow decision. You go through the pain of discipline, or later on in life, you suffer the pain of regret. Write the book now, or later on in life, you will suffer the pain of thinking, what if? What if I would have done it? What if I would have followed up with it? What if I really had put the effort on it? And that thought you do not want to have. So now you are in a perfect spot to do it, because you are in contact with some of the nicest people in the whole world. Because NSA for me has been probably the most important factor in the success that I've had in my career. I've been here 19 years in a row coming to this convention. I haven't missed one. So you have to do that, okay? Now, a very important concept. If you want to be successful as a speaker and as an author, you have to make one decision. And that decision is decide to be famous. And that is a decision, believe it or not. Believe it or not, that's a decision. You have to decide it. And some of you might think, wow, I'm an introvert. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be around people. But you need to be, even if you're not around people. So you have to market, and you have to market all the time. This is the one thought you have to have in your mind. You have to market every day. You have to have a good blog. You have to have a good website. You have to write articles. You have to be in magazines. Okay? You have to go to Rotary clubs. You have to speak in Rotary even for free. You have to be seen. You have to get your message out there so that people read about you. You have to do anything that you need to do. I myself in Puerto Rico, I have a daily radio capsule that goes on 3 times a day. I write a business column for the Puerto Rico Daily Sun every Monday. Okay? I wrote for years in the yahoo.com for Latin America. So, you know, you have to do stuff. And then you'll, of course, start to get famous. I was going to end with a starfish story that you all like, but I decided that I don't have enough time. So let me end with a very important message. The best day of your life is the one in which you decide your life is your own. No apologies or excuses. No one to lean on, rely on, or blame. The gift of life is yours. It is an amazing journey, and you alone are responsible for the quality of it. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Stay with me. Stay with me. Joachim. Awesome. Now it's time for the tough part. Joachim has a question for you that I'd like you to answer with the people at your table. One person. Are you eating your marshmallows? Nah. Once again, find that one person at your table, because it's important that you take that message and figure out how is it going to apply to your world and your profession, your business. So grab one person and answer that question. Are you eating your marshmallows? Keep in mind, 5 minutes. Where's our clock? There we go. Great job, buddy.
Thanks a
Great
lot.
job.